Hi, my name is Joseph Parker, WBO champion of the world, and you're watching Sporting Icons.
So before we get into the main topic of this particular video, which is Joseph Parker wants Oleksandr Usyk for the WBO World Heavyweight title, should that belt become vacant. So in order to get there, let's break down what the whole scenario is first. Now, I'm pretty sure and I'm pretty confident that I would speak for most Boston fans when I say that we would love Tyson Fury to defeat whoever it may be on December the 5th. Looks like Ajit Kabiel. We would love Anthony Joshua to defeat Kubrat Pulev. Then we get Fury versus Joshua, Joshua versus Fury, however which way you want to put it, for undisputed straight after. At least the first fight being undisputed, okay? But is that the reality? No, it's actually a very, very slim chance of that happening for undisputed, because Anthony Joshua, he's going to be taking on his IBF mandatory, and the WBO has also been called already. So the WBO want their mandatory completed, fulfilled by the winner of Joshua and Pulev. Currently, Oleksandr Usyk is that guy. So Oleksandr Usyk, he's already said that I'm not going to step aside, don't care about the money. Joshua has two choices. Either fight me, or you can go fight Fury, but you're going to have to vacate the WBO World Heavyweight title. Usyk, he don't care about Fury versus Joshua for undisputed. And why would he? If you was in his position, you'll be the same. You would want to walk into a fight holding one of the belts to become undisputed, would you not? So we can't really blame him for that one, as much as we don't really like it. But that is the reality of it. So in the inevitable position of Joshua's going to have to vacate the WBO World Heavyweight title, Usyk will fight for the vacant belt. If that was called today, if that belt was vacant today, and we're going to go by the rankings, Usyk will be taking on currently Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois is currently number 2 in the WBO. Joseph Parker, number 3. So, when you look at it in reality, Daniel Dubois, he hasn't had that many fights. He's just passed a dozen fights and hasn't really beaten anybody of any great note. Let's be honest, he has fought some journeymen, but there's nothing wrong with him fighting journeymen at this stage of his career. But the position where he's ranked as number 2 in the world, according to the WBO, he's only there because he's a Frank Warren fighter. Frank Warren has a very, very good historic relationship with the WBO. So they will always favour Frank Warren fighters, much like they do with Bob Arum of Top Rank as well. So that's why Dan Dubois is there. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy that Dan Dubois is there. I'm a biased Brit, okay? But the reality is, he doesn't have a better resume than Joseph Parker. Even a win over Joe Joyce is not a better resume than Joseph Parker. You could argue that Joseph Parker does have 2 losses, for sure. I mean, you could certainly argue that one. But again, it was against the number 1 in the WBC at the time, Dillian Whyte, and of course the champion as well in a unification fight against Anthony Joshua. So there is 2 losses. Now, looking at their next fights, Daniel Dubois, he's going to take on Joe Joyce. Even if he was to beat Joe Joyce, would he keep his number 2 position? Possibly, but probably not. Reason being, because Joseph Parker, while he's ranked number 3, he's going to be taking on Junior Farr. And if you look at the rankings, Junior Farr is ranked higher than Joe Joyce. For me, I think Joe Joyce beats Junior Farr. But we have to go by the rankings, so we have to go by what it is that they see. So on paper, Joseph Parker is taken on and could potentially beat a more credible opponent than Dan Dubois is over Joe Joyce. It's weird how that works out, but that's how they see it. So Joseph Parker would then go to number 2 in the WBO. Dan Dubois has only just become number 2 by defeating that last fella in Schneider's. That's the reality of it. So Joseph Parker, he wants to fight Oleksandr Usyk, should he get past Junior Farr on that, of course, for the vacant WBO World Heavyweight title. In other words, to become a 2-time heavyweight champion of the world and get his belt back that he once held. Joseph Parker, of course, has wins over Andy Ruiz Jr., Hughie Fury, Carlos Takam, and a couple of others. Of course, he's been in there with Joshua and Whyte as well. So his resume is far, far superior to Daniel Dubois at this stage. But as I said, I'm a biased Brit, so I'm quite happy for Daniel Dubois to be where he is. But the reality is, it's probably going to be Oleksandr Usyk versus Joseph Parker. Now, David Higgins, who of course manages Joseph Parker, forever outspoken, he says that he spoke to Joseph Parker and they would take the Oleksandr Usyk fight in a heartbeat, especially if there's a WBO World Heavyweight title on the line. Now, as far as that fight is concerned, I think, again, of course it's opinion, but I think my opinion is probably correct, that if you see a Usyk versus Dubois or a Usyk versus Parker, if all three of those guys actually turn up to win, then Usyk versus Parker is probably the better fight to watch. I don't see Daniel Dubois being as fast as Joseph Parker. He's not. His hand speed is not as fast as Joseph Parker. He certainly hits harder than Joseph Parker, that's for sure. But Joseph Parker can bang as well. And I think with how the styles are matched, I think Usyk versus Parker would be a better fight as far as TV viewership is concerned. Would it be more money generated for that fight? Probably not. But I'm just talking about styles. So I think Joseph Parker against Oleksandr Usyk is a very, very interesting fight. Don't get me wrong, I think Usyk versus Dubois is very interesting as well. But I think that Joseph Parker against Oleksandr Usyk, if Joseph Parker turns up and does what he used to do, which is throw his damn hands and move his feet and actually go for the knockout at times, he's very, very dangerous. Daniel Dubois, we know how dangerous he is. Whatever he hits, he destroys. Okay, so the reality is, if that vacant belt does happen with the WBO, there's a very good chance that we will be seeing Joseph Parker versus Oleksandr Usyk for that belt rather than Usyk versus Daniel Dubois. But of course, if Dubois loses and Joseph Parker loses, then who is it that Oleksandr Usyk is going to be fighting? It probably won't be Junior Farr because he's not ranked quite high enough. It probably won't be Joe Joyce because he's certainly not ranked high enough. So then we're looking at a totally different opponent. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see what happens. The land has yet to be laid, shall we say. But currently right now, there's a very good chance we could be seeing Usyk versus Joseph Parker for the vacant WBO World Heavyweight title, should he get the win over Junior Farr, no matter what happens with Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce. But as I said, Daniel Dubois, he is a Frank Warren fighter. Frank Warren does get favours from the WBO. I don't care what anyone says, he does. So there's a good chance that Dubois could keep his number 2 position. Would Frank Warren be willing to put Usyk and Daniel Dubois together? Maybe. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But right now, Joseph Parker saying, yes, please, give me the Oleksandr Usyk fight, especially if the WBO World Heavyweight title is on the line. Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe, catch you on the next video.